Oh, goodness. All right, Greg talks about raising pigs and chickens online. Why does he not say much about them in his videos?
Because we don't do them anymore.
Greg ran pigs for what, probably 4 years, maybe?
Yeah, and they were 100% forage based for the most part.
Like, took him 2 years
to finish a pig. I would have loved to try that pig.
Oh,
it probably was incredible.
He finished on white oak acorns.
Yeah,
and I mean, he fed a little.
He could probably make prosciutto out of that thing and sell it for like $100 a pound.
Yeah.
You know. Oh. Anyway.
The problem is they tore up a lot of the farm, and Greg wasn't as. So pigs are pigs and chickens, obviously they're omnivores. They're not herbivores. They don't just solely. They can't survive solely on grass, and so.
Well, in a production standpoint, they can't. As in, like they can, but they're not going to be producing either meat or eggs or whatever you need them to produce without giving them that supplementation.
Yeah, and so, and even still, they still rely on some kind of like.
Yep. Like acorns.
Like acorns kind of or grubs or
high
roots.
Energy food supplementation that's not just grass and forage.
And so they weren't something that he was interested in doing anymore. And so
it's like the pigs. Well, we'll get over the chickens. Like, you know, the whole concept of running chickens behind your cattle, it's super cool, but we move the cattle so fast. There's no way that you could keep chickens up with them.
Yeah, I think if you had a smaller herd of cattle, like maybe you had 50 cows or something, and you were moving them half an acre a day or whatever, you had
the distance is a lot smaller.
The distance is a lot smaller, and then you had maybe 100 chickens or something in an egg mobile, and you were moving them around behind the cattle. I think that in that scenario, I mean, you're going to see some huge benefits, not only in like pasture cleanup, but like parasites are going to be sucked up. Your fly load's going to be down. You're going to be getting eggs. You know, me personally, I don't have any desire to get into the egg business as far as for production.
It's a tough business.
The only I see a huge benefits in the role that chickens have in like the flies and the parasite, you know, the impact end host of the parasite, the impact on the land. And if you could design a system where you had a so chickens only like travel like there's like some distance, like 200 yards from where their home is, and so if you can stock your chickens the right amount so that in that 200 yard or whatever circle there's enough bugs, grubs, worms, fly larvae, seeds, everything in there to sustain that flock, and you don't have to put in any kind of inputs as far as like feed, and then you can also follow them through behind the cattle. I think that's super cool, and that's something that I really want to do someday. But as far as like trying to produce eggs and sell them as a business, I'm not personally into it, and there's such a small margin that you've got to do a serious scale
to make it work. And the market is so competitive, almost everywhere.
I think what I'd rather see is everybody have their own 20 chickens and raise their own eggs. It's so simple to keep 20 chickens. It's like one of the easiest livestock to keep.
As far as pigs, it's the same sort of deal, and the pigs do a lot of damage if they're not managed properly. And even if they are managed properly, their impact on woods is just heavy, and on pasture is just heavy. And so it's one of those deals where it just wasn't jiving, I should say, with the cattle. It was creating a lot of bare ground in certain areas, and that might have been leading to some blackleg issues with the cattle. And it was just something where it was a lot of effort. It was not a lot of return on it. Greg wasn't super into it, and so it came and it went. It's the same thing with the chickens. It came and it went. And part of that is also knowing your business, knowing your land, and knowing yourself. And Greg just figured, I love my cattle more than I love my pigs and the chickens. And so the cattle stayed and the chickens went, and the pigs went. So not saying that it doesn't work, it just not the chickens. This scenario.
I don't think Greg did the chickens.
No, that was the former farm manager. Was dealing with the chickens, but I mean it was still Greg's operation, so he was the final say as far as if they were there or if they weren't there. And so that's the story with that.